Hello, my name is Amy O'Kane, and today I'm doing a demonstration speech on mosaics. Welcome to my workshop. First, what is a mosaic? A mosaic is broken pieces of tile, glass, stone, seashells, anything placed in a design on top of another object to create something new. Mosaics are great because it's a very relaxing activity to do, very stress reducing. They make great gifts. I've used them for art therapy sessions at the YMCA. And also, you take broken objects that otherwise would be thrown away and reuse them. So reduce, reuse, recycle. It's great. I've done different activities with mosaics. I've done fireplaces, tabletops, backsplashes, votive candles, picture frames. I've done mirrors. I've done many projects. Today we're going to start with something simple. We're going to make a mirror. I've already created part of the project, but what you want to do is you want to go to your local hardware store and grab a piece of plywood, 2 foot by 2 foot. You want to grab these tiles. They're 1 by 1 foot tiles. They're mirror tiles. Pretty cheap. It cost me about $5 for a box of 6. I've got containers here for mixing grout, mortar, things like that. I bought unsanded grout. It doesn't really matter which kind you buy or which color, as long as you have grout for in between the tiles, unless you place them so closely together that you don't have to grout it. What you want to do then is do more coats of polyurethane on top so they don't come off. And you need an adhesive, so something like this. This is a tile adhesive. Works wonders with tiles or stones. You can also use mortar or Quikrete. I have more success with the tile adhesive. Then you want to grab different things that you can mortar down. I have tiles that I broke up into pieces, and I'll show you how to do that. I have plates that were broken. I have seashells. And I have glass stones. You can use all sorts of things in a project like this. The first thing you want to do is you want to take your blank piece of wood, and I put my mirror on top so I know exactly where I want to have it in the center, and I draw a square around it, and then I design around that. What I did for this one is I took a plastic container and I put it on top, and I just drew edges in a pattern around it. So that way I have an idea of how I want my pattern to go. For instance, this is a finished product. This is one of the first things I ever created. As you can see, there's a pattern with the different colors that I drew on first before I laid the tiles down. Next, you want to get your pieces together. What I do is I group in different sections the different colors of tiles or items I'm using. So for this section, I'm going to use some broken plates. So I grabbed a pillowcase, an old pillowcase I wasn't using anymore, because you don't want the pieces to fly around or hit you in the eye if you break them. And you take the plates and you put them inside the pillowcase. And you take a hammer, put it on a hard surface, and just smash them. This is one of the most stress-reducing activities. Who doesn't love to smash things with a hammer? And then you get smaller pieces like this. Now some of them are still going to be too big, but you just take them and break them down even more. And some are going to be too small. You just want to throw those out because you won't be able to use them. So I pick out the pieces that I'm going to use. Now you have to be very careful because extremely sharp. The first time I did this, I cut my fingers several times. If you can grab a small or thin piece of glove or a thin pair of gloves, it works best. However, I don't wear gloves. I've been doing this for too long. Safety goggles even works too, especially during the smashing process. Now I want to break down some of these bigger pieces into smaller pieces. So I'm going to put them back in. And you can even feel inside the pillowcase of which ones need to be broken. If you smash them too much, they'll get too small and you won't be able to use any of them. So don't get too carried away. Now we have several pieces that we can use in our project. These still are a little too big. So even if you just take the hammer, put it on the floor, and give it one little tap, it'll break apart. Don't go too crazy, it'll fly up and hit you in the face. Okay, so depending on which side you're going to use, I'm using the darker side, you put them on the board in such a way, almost like a jigsaw puzzle, that they're about a centimeter apart. Now I'm going to grab the camera and show you in just a second here on how I did this. Now spaces can be bigger or smaller. The grout will fill everything in once you are finished. But what I do is I put all the pieces down first and then I glue them. That way if there's anything that's not fitting right, you could take it all apart. See how I arranged it in sort of like how they all fit, the different edges fit together in different ways. Okay, and then you take a spatula and your mortar, and you want to take a little bit of the mortar on the spatula once you have a section that's done, and you glue it down. And I have a piece over here that came off. You glue that down, and you just put a little on the back side as such. It doesn't matter if you put too much on, or it matters if you put too little on though, because then it won't stay. It's okay if you can see it come out the bottom because you're going to put grout over that part anyway. And when you're done mortaring the whole section, work on the next section and keep doing that until it's all done. Once you get all of your pieces glued down, you can then grout. I'm probably about 2 hours away from, or 2 days away from, it takes about 2 to 3 days to do a project like this, from completing this project. So I'm not going to be able to show you exactly how to grout, but it's quite simple. You just mix the grout in a container with some water to where it's almost like a sandy mud. And you put it in between all the pieces. And it's okay if you get it on top of the pieces because you're going to wash it all off at the end. And it comes off the tiles. Then you take the mirror and let it set for a good hour or so. And once the grout is dried, you'll be able to tell when it dries in between. Then you take a rag, an old rag, and some warm water. And what I do is I dip it in as such, wrap my fingers around it, and I scrub the tile pieces on top and clean them off of all the grout and debris. And once that's done, you let it set again because you're re-wetting the grout, so it needs more time to set. And your mirror is then in the finishing stages. in order to protect your mirror from falling apart, what you want to do is, especially if you're hanging it up on a wall, gravity has a way of pulling things apart, take polyurethane and paint it over the top of it, and that will make it last a lot longer. I also have bought these little clips for the back, so that way you can hang your mirror on the wall. And they're at the hardware store as well, very cheap. And at the end, this is what it looks like. You can see the detail, the grout, the tiles. It's okay if they stick up above the mirror. It gives it more of a 3D effect. Mosaics are good for many reasons. Like I said, reduce, reuse, recycle. They make great gifts. I've given them as housewarming gifts, Christmas gifts, and over the summer I held a class at the local YMCA where I mentor disadvantaged teens, and all summer long the teenagers wanted to go to the Y to do this project. They just wanted to work on their mosaics. So it's a longer project, but it keeps children out of trouble. It's good for people of all ages. Thank you for listening.